his wife,
right?
and she conceived.
She what?
And she conceived.
Means she got pregnant. Okay? Means she got pregnant. She's going to bring forth a child. She conceived. Read.
And bare Cain, and said, I have gotten a man from the Most High.
Right, I've gotten a man son, man child. I've gotten a son from the Most High. Read on.
And she again bare his brother Abel.
Right.
And Abel was a keeper of sheep.
A keeper of what?
Of sheep.
Now Abel was keeping the sheep. Now why was Abel keeping the sheep? What do we do with sheep? What do we do with sheep? Huh? Clothes, food, right? Sheep had a lot of purpose. Sheep was considered a commodity. You could use their skins, you could use their fur, you could use their flesh. They're all three, they're triple threats right there. Okay? But you could just shave the sheep, right? And just shorn the sheep and use their fur to what? Make clothing, right? So they were very useful, the sheep. Okay. This is why we always, Israel always was known to be shepherds, having sheep and cattle, because sheep had a lot of usage. Right?
And Cain was a tiller of the ground. And in the process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground.
Right. And Cain was a tiller of the ground. That means he was what? A farmer, right? So in the process of time, it came, right? That what? Read third verse again.
And in the process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground,
right?
An offering unto the Most High.
A what?
An offering unto the Most High.
Right. So we bring offerings to the Most High, okay? Different occasions we bring offerings to the Most High. Okay. Shabbat day we bring an offering. Right? Every feast day we bring an offering to the Father. Okay. So it's not necessarily, when we sin we bring an offering, but also there was free will offerings to the Most High God. Okay. Read on.
And Abel he also brought of the firstlings of his flock.
Of the what?
Of his flock.
Right. The firstlings of his flock. What's the firstlings? Firstborn. Okay. The firstborn. He brought the first of his flock. All right. Could be the firstborn. Also could be the best. It's in the firstlings. It means the best, the top. He brought the best to the Most High. All right. Read on.
And Abel he also brought of the firstlings of his flock, and of that fat thereof. And the Most High had respect unto Abel and to his offering. For unto Cain and to his offering he had no respect.
Right.
And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell.
Right.
And the Most High said unto Cain, Why art thou wroth? And why is thy countenance fallen?
Right.
If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted? And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door.
Right.
And unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him.
So everybody understand that? If you do what's right in the sight of the Most High bless you. It's good. But if you do what's wrong, and then you get chastised for the wrong you have done, why are you upset about that? Right? No one doing wrong and get chastised for their wrong should get upset when they get chastised. Right? You're supposed to take that chastity. You was wrong. Everybody understand that? Right. So he letting Cain know, how you going to be mad when you did wrong and I didn't accept your wrong and now you're going to be mad with me? Right? So why is our wrath? Why is that countenance falling? Why are you upset and sad? Because I didn't accept your offering. Your offering was wrong. Okay. You gonna say something, Sheriff?
Oh, I was gonna bring out Hebrews 12 and 6.
What's that?
Hebrews 12 and 6.
Look at that.
Talk about it. He
Nah, let's continue. Mhm.
Hebrews 11, verse 4. The book of Hebrews, chapter 11, verse 4. By faith, Abel offered unto the Most High a more excellent sacrifice than Cain.
Right. So Abel, evidently, the Most High had instructed us on what's an acceptable offering already. They knew what an acceptable offering was. Right? If Cain didn't know what an acceptable offering was, then he could have done wrong. So that tells you that what an acceptable offering was already communicated to Cain and to Abel. They knew what acceptable offerings was. Abel gave the right offering through faith. He gave the first thing of his flock. He didn't hold back nothing. When he went to give his offering, he gave his best. Cain, on the other hand, he didn't give his best. This is why Abel's offering was accepted and Cain wasn't. Everybody understand that? Read.
By which he obtained witness that he was righteous.
Right?
The Most High testifying his gifts, and by it he being dead yet speaketh.
Right. And by it he being dead yet speaketh. We're going to that yet. We didn't get there yet. Right? We didn't go there yet. Let's go back to Genesis. Read.
The book of Genesis, chapter 4, verse 8. And Cain talked with Abel, his brother.
Right?
And it came to pass, when they were in the field, that Cain rose up against Abel, his brother, and slew him.
Right. So Cain was so upset, so envious over his brother, that the Most High accepted his brother's offering, that he ended up what? Hating his brother. And the hatred he had for his brother ended up killing his brother. Okay? But not this out.
Sirach 8 and 16. I got one too.
I was just starting, right?
If I can.
Get it, Sirach 8, 16.
The book of Sirach, chapter 8, verse 16. Strive not with the angry man.
Hold on. 8 verse 16?
Yeah, 8:16.
Okay. Sirach 8 and verse 16. Okay.
Strive not with the angry man, and go not with him into a solitary place.
Right.
For blood is as nothing in his sight, and where there is no help, he will overthrow thee.
Right, so evidently, Cain was an angry man. That's why the Most High said his countenance is fallen, because he was vexed because the Most High did not accept his offer. And you can't take it out on the Most High, so you're going to go take it out on his brother. A lot of times, if situations happen, you can't take it out with the Most High. So you look for somebody around you to make them the issue of your problem. Right? You start blaming the person next to you when it's the Most High causing the issue. You know what I mean? But you can't box with the Most High, so you're going to get at your brother or your sister. All right? Read on. What else you have?
1 John chapter 3, verse 12.
1 John 3 and 12.
The book of 1 John chapter 3, verse 12. Not has Cain, who was of that wicked one,
right,
and slew his brother.
So when Cain was of that wicked one, what does that mean? What do you mean he was of the wicked one? What does of the wicked one mean? Yes, he was a righteous one.
Of Satan.
He was of Satan. Cain was Adam and Eve's first son, but he was demonic. Remember, very closely, remember that he tilleth the ground. Okay? Then later on, as we go through Genesis, you're going to see two brothers that have the same characteristics. And you're going to realize that this is these two coming back. Okay? One that tilled the ground was a demonic one. One that kept the sheep was the righteous one. Everybody pay attention? All right? Because when we go to the story of Esau and Jacob, we're going to see the same scenario. So you're going to know that same spirit come back. Okay? Read.
Wherefore slew he him because his own works were evil,
Right?
and his brothers righteous.
Right, because his brother was right and he was wicked, he won't kill you. The same way they come against us. They see us out there standing up for righteousness. Man, Esau be so mad he want to kill us. Right? If he could shoot us right down the spot, he would. Right? He could be out there trying to bring forth righteousness. Okay. Sister Aaron?
I have a question. Verse 7. Who is the thee that is talking about shall be his desire?
Verse 7.
Yeah.
Oh, sin is the thee.
Oh, okay.
And unto sin will be your desire. Meaning that if you start to get into sin, you're only going to want to sin more and sin more. Sin multiplies. Right? Sin attracts more sinful behavior. Okay? So, let's read on.
Verse 9. And the Most High said unto Cain, where is Abel thy brother? And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper?
Right, popular statement. Right? So the Most High asked, is asking, where is Abel? And he immediately got defensive and said, what am I, my brother's keeper? It's not my job to know where Abel is at. In other words, read on.
And he said, what hast thou done?
Right?
The voice of thy brother's blood cried unto me from the ground.
Right?
And now art thou cursed from the earth,
Right?
which hath opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand.
Come on.
When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength.
Right?
A fugitive and a vagabond shalt thou be in the earth.
Right, that's a future prophecy. A fugitive and a vagabond shall I be in the earth. You know what? People going to be chasing you, ready to kill you. That same spirit came. That's going to be your future on this earth. Read on.
And Cain said unto the Most High, my punishment is greater than I can bear.
Right?
Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid. And I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. And it shall come to pass that everyone that findeth me shall slay me.
Right?
And the Most High said unto him, therefore whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And the Most High set a mark upon Cain, lest any finding him should kill him.
Right, so he didn't want anyone to kill him. But he set a mark upon him so everybody would know that he was what? Cursed. He had a mark. You could look on him and say that man was cursed. Now, what mark could this possibly be? Huh?
I'm sorry, I have a question because I'm confused. I thought the curse of fugitive and a vagabond, I thought that curse fell upon Edom.
Called who?
Edom.
Edom, that's right. But Edom is not here yet. We're before Edom. We're before Edom. Edom was not created yet. Right? Edom inherited this curse. This is where the curse starts, with Cain.
Oh, so
Cain is way before Edom. There's no Edom. There's no Israel. All this has not happened yet. We're in Genesis, the 4th chapter. We just got out of the garden.
I'm trying to understand how they inherited it. Are they descendants of Cain?
They're descendants of the wicked. Cain was wicked. He was a man serving Satan, just like Edom. You understand? All right, we'll get there. All right. They're offspring of the wicked, not physical offspring as in blood lineage, but they're that same wicked spirit coming back. All right, and you're going to see the similar characteristics between Cain and Esau. Right? Shalom. Right. The mark that's put upon Cain is a curse. What is a curse? The curse is the curse of leprosy. So when everybody saw him, he knew he was cursed. Because nobody looked like that. Everybody had pigmentation and melanin to their skin. He needed to put a mark on him that he would stand out like a sore thumb. Right? He would look different than everybody. When he saw him, he'd be like, nah, I ain't touching him. Right? I ain't killing him. Before he get what I get on me. They ain't want to touch him. Right? That's how they was dealing with Cain. Right, man?
Same thing he did with Miriam, Numbers 12.
Right, so I was going there too. How do we know it's a curse, right? Because he done the same mark when the same curse he put upon Miriam. When he went to show Miriam his power. Right? Right? Now let's get it. Numbers 12 and 15.
Actually, you can jump up. You can jump up. Start at 10.
10. I want everybody to understand that lack of pigmentation in melanin is beyond the skin. It's also in the DNA, the structure. They lack something. This is why their facial features are different, their body features are different. It goes deeper than skin. Okay? The difference between the so-called black man, white man goes deeper than the skin. It goes into their very organs are different. All right? That's why they always want your organs. Right? If something happened to them, they want your organ. Because their scientists already know that your organs are stronger because of the melanin and the melanin in your body. Okay? It actually makes your blood in your organs stronger. So they want your organs. Okay? Their scientists already confirm these things. Okay? The pigmentation of your skin is a whole other story. That's what shows on the outside. Okay? And that can be derived on how much pigmentation you have. Some have a lot, some have a little. It doesn't necessarily mean how much melanin you have. All right? That's a misconception. That is totally connected to how much melanin you have. You could be a lighter skin and have a lot of melanin, right, in your body. Melanin is a strong substance that's in all your organs. It's in your blood. Okay? Makes your vessels stronger. Okay? Read that.
The book of Numbers, chapter 12, verse 9. And the anger of the Most High was kindled against them, and he departed. And the cloud departed from off the tabernacle. And behold, Miriam became leprous, white as snow.
White as what?
As snow.
As snow. That's pretty white. Okay? That's like Sweden white. That's like Norway white. That ain't even white that we see on a normal visit on a normal day. That's super white. Right? Like snow. You know?
And Aaron looked upon Miriam, and behold, she was leprous.
And behold. You know?
And Aaron said unto Moses, Alas, my other one, I beseech thee, lay not the sin upon us, wherein we have done foolishly,
right,
and wherein we have sinned.
Right.
Let her not be as one dead, of whom the flesh is half consumed,
right,
when he cometh out of his mother's womb.
Right. Right. Don't look like a newborn baby that before the color comes in. That's how she was looking. She had no pigmentation to her skin. Okay. So we understand that that's a curse to look that way. All right? But when you think of Moses was a sign, we come here to show that it was a curse that was given. Okay, so let's go back. Okay, so leprosy is a curse. All right? Given by the Most High God. Right? Read.
The book of Genesis, chapter 4, verse 16. And Cain went out from the presence of the Most High, and dwelt in the land of Nod, on the east of Eden. And Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and bare Enoch. And he built a city, and called the name of the city after the name of his son Enoch.
Right, so he got a wife, right? And they had forth a son. What was the name of his wife? And Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and bare Enoch. We don't have the name of his wife. Enoch is his first son. Read on.
And unto Enoch was born Arad, and Arad begat Mehujael, and Mehujael begat Methuselah,
Okay.
and Methuselah begat Lamech.
Right, so what? This is lineage. Huh? So this is Cain's lineage, he had his children, he got kicked out, went to the land of Nod. Most High's angry with him, put a mark upon him, right? Still was able to get himself a wife and have some children, even with the mark, right? Yeah. Somebody for everybody, right? We know.
Verse 19, and Lamech took him 2 wives.
Now Lamech took 2 wives, right? So Cain took 1 wife and had his children, which had their age. But when it came to Lamech said, no, I'm going to take 2 wives, right? We on.
Verse 19, and Lamech took unto him 2 wives. The name of the son was Adah, and the name of the other was Zillah.
Right, Adah and Zillah was his 2 wives. Okay, we know.
And Adah bare Jabal, and he was the father of such as dwell in tents, and of such as have cattle. And his brother's name was Jubal. He was the father of all such as handled the harp and organ.
Right, so he's a musician. Now we have a musician, and we have one that deal with the cattle and things of that sort, right?
When you go to school, they say that some Edomite woman, I forgot her name, some Edomite woman in Europe, she was the one who started farming. You know what I mean? That didn't make sense to me. I was like, what?
Some woman in Europe started farming?
Yes, she was the one who started farming.
Because if he started telling the story, he started everything. Right? So, don't believe what they tell you. In school, you retain what they tell you, you pass the test, and then you forget about what they told you. All right?
And Zillah, she also bare Tubal-Cain, an instructor of every artificer in brass and iron. And the sister of Tubal-Cain was Naamah.
Right, so what? He had children that were musicians, artists, all these things are coming about. With cattle, right?
Is this the first time we've seen a man taking 2 wives, starting with the seed of Cain?
This is the first recording, the correct recording of it. Right. This is the first recording of he took 2 wives. Okay. Which, if you notice, in the recording of it, there's no significance but to say this is what the children did. They came out of the wives. Whether it was 1 wife, 2 wives, that was never significant, there was no significance to it. Because having wives was never a situation where it was like we are today. We're taught that a man should only have 1 wife. Right? This is an understanding that we have. But in these days, that understanding didn't even exist. Men took wives, 1 wife, 2 wives. That's all according to their, their situation, right, or what they thought they needed, what they wanted. All right, the control of how many wives a man can and cannot have never really existed with the Most High God. Okay, that's something that society has brought forth later on. So he took 2 wives so we can learn how many children he's having and what all these children are doing. Okay, so this is the first recording, yes, of 2 wives in the scriptures. Right,
And Lamech said unto his wives, Adah and Zillah, hear my voice, ye wives of Lamech. Hearken unto my speech, for I have slain a man to my wounding, and a young man to my hurt.
Right, he said, I killed a man, and that's why I'm wounded like this. I slayed a man, and that's why I'm in such hurt and such pain.
If Cain shall be avenged 7-fold,
right?
Truly, Lamech 70 and 7-fold.
Right.
And Adam knew his wife again, and she bare a son. They called his name Seth. For the Most High said, she has appointed me another seed, instead of Abel, whom Cain slew.
Right.
And to him also there was born a son, and he called his name Enos. Then began men to call upon the name of the Most High.
Right, so Enos is very significant. Because when Enos was born of Seth, now men started to what? Worship the Most High God again. Okay? The worship of the Father was increased in the land through Enos. So showing Enos was doing what? He was what? Pushing what? Righteousness. Right? The service of the Most High God. Cain, they was about art, they were about music, whatever things that they were dealing with over there, right? Dealing with cattle. But Enos, he came bringing the word of the Most High, all right? Reestablishing righteousness, right? Read on.
Chapter 5. This is the book of the generations of Adam in the day that the Most High created man in the likeness of Elohim made he him.
Right?
Male and female created he them, and blessed them, and called their name Adam.
They called their name Adam. They called their name Adam. So Adam is a person, but it's also a people. He called their name Adam. Mankind was named Adam. Everybody understand this? Another name for mankind is Adam. Not just the individual Adam. Okay? So there's two different Adams. Adam is which is all mankind, and there's Adam, that particular man Adam. Okay? Read on.
In the day when they were created. And Adam lived 130 years, and begat a son in his own likeness, after his image, and called his name Seth.
Right?
And the days of Adam, after he had begotten Seth, were 800 years. And he begat sons and daughters.
Right, so he had many children. Read on.
And all the days that Adam lived were 930 years, and he died.
Right, so he lived 930 years. Like we were going into before, that when Adam was created, was he supposed to die? No. He was created to be immortal. But through his fall, through his sin, right, now he died. But it took 930 years for him to die. Okay? So think about that dispensation of time. 930 years on the earth. That is a long time. Okay? That would put 930 years ago was when? Just so you get a perspective on time. I think you gotta get a perspective on time. What would be the year 930 years ago? Right now we're what? 1819. That was what? What is it? What was it?
70 BC.
It was 7?
70.
930 years? Oh. Oh, just do the math. Subtract 930 years from 2018. What do you get? Huh? 1088. Right? We'll be back in the, what? In the 11th century. Right? 1088. We're back in medieval times. 930 years ago. That's what medieval times, right? The 10, the 1100s, right? The 1200s, that's medieval times. Okay. That's how far we're going back. Just now, he lived 930 years and begat sons and daughters. So think about this. I want you to kind of put yourself, do the math in your head. How many children can you beget in 930 years? You don't know how many wives you have because you didn't speak about it, right? 930 years? I just want you to put that in perspective. Because how old was he when he had Seth? How old was he? He was 130 when he had Seth. Seth is not his first son. What was his first son? Right. Just want to put in perspective how much children this man probably had. Right? That's quite a bit of children. Right? Let's read on. Bunches of children. Go ahead.
Verse 7. And Seth lived after he begat Enos 807 years, and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Seth were 912 years, and he died.
Come on.
And Enos lived 90 years and begat Canaan.
So he was 90 when he begat who?
Canaan. That's what he said, Canaan, right?
Yeah, Canaan.
Canaan. And Enos lived after he begat Canaan 815 years and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Enos were 905 years, and he died. And Canaan lived 70 years and begat Mahalalel. And Canaan lived after he begat Mahalalel 840 years and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Canaan were 910 years, and he died.
Right, so we gotta look at this. Why is it significant? Because these are lineage and how long each lineage lived. So you gotta look at it as these are representing 1,000-year periods on the earth. You see what I'm saying? Each son that begat the son and their sons, we're looking at 1,000-year periods. All right? So time is passing from Adam, right? Going in the garden. We're already 4,000 or 5,000 years from that. Everybody understand that? If you do the math. We're 4,000 or 5,000 years from the garden. Right? So understand that this is a long period of time. There's a lot of time before the flood. In other words, what I'm trying to make you understand. Before the flood was not quick. Even though it's only a small part of Genesis, it's depicting a very long period of time where a lot took place on this earth. A lot of abundance of people being born and nations being created. And that, so we got to keep that in our perspective as we read it, because sometimes we read it quickly and we think, oh, this came after this and this came after that. We're not looking at what's the dispensation of time in which we use things. Okay, let's read.
Verse 15. And Mahalalel lived 60 and 5 years and begat Jared. And Mahalalel lived after he begat Jared 830 years and begat sons and daughters. All the days of Mahalalel were 895 years, and he died. And Jared lived 162 years and he begat Enoch. And Jared lived after he begat Enoch 800 years and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Jared were 962 years, and he died. And Enoch lived 65 years and begat Methuselah. And Enoch walked with the Most High after he begat Methuselah 300 years and begat sons and daughters.
So what does it mean he walked with the Most High? Right. He was righteous. Enoch was righteous. And he communicated with the Heavenly Father. And the Heavenly Father communicated with him. So he walked with the Most High. All right? The only other person that they supposed to say walk with the Most High was Abraham. They said he walked with the Most High. Okay? Meaning that what he had interaction with the Heavenly Father. All right, read on.
And all the days of Enoch were 365 years. And Enoch walked with the Most High, and he was not, for the Most High took him. And Methuselah lived 187 years and begat Lamech. And Methuselah lived after he begat Lamech 782 years and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Methuselah were 969 years, and he died. And Lamech lived 182 years and begat a son. And he called his name Noah,
Right.
saying, this same shall comfort us concerning our work
Right.
and toil of our hands, because of the ground which the Most High hath cursed. And Lamech lived after he begat Noah 595 years and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Lamech were 777 years, and he died.
Right. So you take account of his days. His days was what? 777. Okay. 777 years. Okay. Completion. Okay. So this is the righteous seed. This is the righteous bloodline here, which brings forth Noah, which is a man of righteousness, because his great grandfather was Enoch, who walked with the Father. Right? You know?
And Noah was 500 years old, and Noah begat Shem, Ham, and Japheth.
Right. And when he was 500, so he had his children late in life. Right? He went until he was 500, and then he had Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Okay? You know?
The book of Genesis, chapter 6, verse 1. And it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of the Most High saw that the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose.
So now the sons of the Most High God, okay, which sons are these? Of what lineage? Of Seth, right? Even closer, you could come down further, you could say of Enoch, right? Because Enoch walked with the Most High. So everybody that came after Enoch, now we know Enos also began to serve the Most High, but most recently, Enoch, right? And Enoch's lineage down to Adam, these men were righteous. So these are the righteous started to take wives of who? Of who? The children of who? Huh? Who's, where they come from? Cain, right? Cain, right? Cain, remember, Lamech, right? Had children. Lamech also slew a man, right? Lamech was also a killer. He said if Cain going to be judged, Lamech going to be double judged. That's what he said, because I killed too, right? We just read that in 4:24, right? So they have their lineage and their children, they bring it up and filling the earth. The musicians and the artificers, and they did all this stuff, right? To understand that there's two lineages of people on the earth right now. There's those that came out the righteous seed, and there's those that came out of Cain, right? Not to mention, there's other people on the earth too. So it's the same setup as today. We have what? We have Esau and Jacob. Then we got all the other nations, right? It's the same setup. You have the sons of Cain, the sons of Seth, and then you had all the other nations. Okay. Same setup after the flood. Names changed, the same setup. The Most High does not change. He brought back the same thing after the flood. All right? So read 6 again.
Verse 2. That the sons of the Most High saw the daughters of men,
Right.
that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose.
Right.
And the Most High said, my spirit shall not always strive with man.
Shall always strive with who?
With man.
So now, the Most High said, my spirit ain't going to strive with man. Because man, they are righteous and they going off. Right? The righteous is going off right now. So the Most High is angry with the righteous going off. Right? With the righteous man going off by taking these women that they should ought not to take. They should have taken women from their own lineage. Right. From their own line, from their own cousins. That is customary from the Most High God. But no, they went off with these other women. Right? Read on.
For that he also is flesh.
Mm-hmm.
Yet his days shall be 120 years.
Right, so what? He shortened his time to 120 years. Okay? He said, I'm going to shorten these times down to 120. Now, it didn't happen just like this. It took time to bring that age bracket into play. So you're going to start seeing men's lives start to diminish in years as it goes on till it gets to 120 and below 120. right? It didn't just happen right there on the spot. Shamwala,
Sirach 18:9.
what is that about?
It says the number of a man's days at the most are 100 years.
Well, that's a guesstimation.
Yeah.
We know that it's 120. That's the people that's over 100 years right now in here. People 101, 102, 105. You hear about that. I think there's some lady in Florida, she's like 110, right? 110 years old. You know what I mean? So it's something that it happens, but you don't hear nobody 125. You don't hear that. Okay? Because 100 years of man is 120. That's all you're going to get. All right? Let's read.
Verse 4. There were giants in the earth in those days.
Right?
And also after that, when the sons of the Most High came in unto the daughters of men, they bare children to them.
Right?
And the same became mighty men, which were of old men of renown.
Right, so this is a scripture that sends people off the deep end. Right? I don't even know why. It's really not that complicated. Once you stay in context of what you're reading, don't jump to any fairy tale. Stay in the context of what you're reading. When they said they were giants, right, in the land in those times, what is that talking about? Superhuman strength? X-Men? What are we talking about here?
450 feet tall.
Who are giants? Who is considered giant? Oh, they were tall. Let's see, we're gonna get some precepts.
But they were like 7 feet tall. Yeah.
Not to that.
So you look for first. I know we're talking about First Samuel 17 on
Was it the
4.
bed was 9 cubits?
What you talking about?
First we're gonna start with we went into the land.
Oh,
Okay, we'll start there.
That were all going
Huh?
That were all the signs.
The sons of Hannah.
Yeah, that's the number.
We're gonna go too deep. Let's understand giants. In Numbers 13. We'll get Numbers 13 and start with 30. Read that.
The book of Numbers, chapter 13, verse 30. And Caleb stilled the people before Moses and said, let us go up at once and possess it.
Everybody remembers this, right? Caleb was like, man, let's go on the land. The people wasn't afraid because they got a bad report from some of the brothers. But Caleb was like, no, we can take them. Read on.
For we are well able to overcome it.
We can fight and we can win, right? Read on.
But the men that went up with them said, we be not able to go against this people.
The men that went with Canaan, they were scared. What did they say? Read on.
For they are stronger than we.
Right?
And they brought up an evil report of the land which they had searched unto the children of Israel.
Right?
Saying, the land through which we have gone to search it is the land that eat up the inhabitants thereof. And all the people that we saw in it are men of a great stature.
Mm-hmm. Of a great what?
Stature.
What does it mean, stature? height, men of great stature. They were very tall, right? Now, I ain't gonna pick on anybody, but let me see here. Let's say, all right. We'll use Ash, right? Ash is standing. Okay. All right. Now, if Asher represent the average height of a man at that time, right? ASAP, step over, stand please. Right? Go stand next to ASAP. Right? ASAP, right, would be considered a giant, right? So if Asher was the average size of a man, okay? They were looking and saying these cats are giants over there, right? Why we take this and say these people are 100 feet tall? There's no scripture that says that. They said the man had high stature. All right, thank you for that. They wasn't superhuman height, but they were taller than the average, right? Even to this day, there is a tribe in Africa, bunch of Hamites, right, called the Watusi, right? What is the Watusi known for? Huh? They're extremely tall people. Who remembers Manute Bo? He was a Watusi. He was from that tribe of Hamites. Dude was 7 feet tall, right? 7'6"? Sorry, excuse me, I said correctly. He was 7'6". At 7 feet, he would be a giant. At 7'6", that's crazy, right? The temple wasn't as tall as no, but he was like 7'4". But I think came out of the right. Right. Not saying all tall people come from this tribe, but we're just saying in examples on the earth of tall people. You got a whole basketball arena that's full of 7 feet, 6'6". Anything less than 6'6", you kind of short. If you're under 6'6", you kind of short to play that sport. That means everybody is 6'6", 6'8", 6'7", 6'9", 6'10", 7 feet tall, 7'4", 7'2", right? Compared to the soccer team, where everybody's about 5 feet, 4'11", you know what I mean? They would be considered giants next to them. If you had to fight them, you would be like, oh no, this is not good. Okay? We can't take that. Right? You can understand why the report came out. So we have to put the word giant in the right perspective before we start thinking in Greek mythology and thinking that angels are sleeping with people. That is Greek mythology. Angels cannot sleep with people and make children. Okay? That cannot happen. Okay? Only mankind can sleep with mankind and make mankind. Everybody understand this? Esau is trying it all. Okay? He tried other beasts, right? It ain't gonna work. It takes a monkey and a monkey to make a monkey, right? It takes a cat and a cat to make another cat, a dog and a dog to make another dog, a man and mankind to make another one. You cannot mix fleshes. We went through that earlier, right? All flesh is not the same flesh. That's right. So not because you can commit the act of intercourse mean that's going to yield a child if you're not of the same species. All right? Those of us that grew up watching Star Trek, right? Used to sleep with an alien woman, Captain Kirk, right? Green woman, something like that. You're not going to bring forth a green child. Okay? It's not going to happen. It is not human. Okay? You have to ground yourself when you read this Bible. That you don't believe in fairy tales. That's right. All right? They were called giants in the land. Right? What you got? You got a 13? Verse 13? Yeah, verse 13. Huh? We read that earlier, but we can go back to it.
Give me the last verse.
Where?
Chapter 13.
In 13? Oh,
13 and 33. Last one.
okay. Yeah, we need that. We need that. Finish that. Right.
So what about the book of Enoch? What are you talking about?
What about the book of Enoch? That is what the problem is. Okay? Because we now have to go into a book that's outside the books of the Most High God. Who said the book of Enoch is a book of the Most High God? What proof do you have that the book of Enoch is a book of the Most High God? Right?
In the book of Enoch, they said that the angel is the one who started the music instruments.
Yeah, I know. And you just read here that the instruments were started by the children of who? Of Seth. They were artificers and musicians. We already read that. So we know that there's things in the book of Enoch that's totally contrary to what the Bible says. So you cannot hold that book to high regard. You cannot hold that book to high regard. Right? And this is one of the examples of it. It took something that's read in the scriptures that's plain and caused you to believe in Greek mythology and angels equal with men and people, superhuman strengths going on the earth. No. Okay, that's not what the Bible says. Okay. Read that Deuteronomy 3 and 13. Read.
Numbers 13:33.
You was reading that? Oh, yeah. Numbers 13:33. Sorry.
The book of Numbers, chapter 13, verse 33. And there we saw the giants, the sons of Anak.
The son of who?
Anak.
The sons of Anak. The sons of Anak were considered giants. Read on.
Which come of the giants.
Right.
And we were in our own sight as grasshoppers.
Right.
And so we were in their sight.
Right. So think about that now. We like grasshoppers to them. Now they're being a little bit exaggerated, right? But to show you that if you took a grasshopper and you took a person, right? If you took that literally, you would really believe there's 450-foot men walking around, right? But you wouldn't consider how big their foot would have to be, right? If you were 450 feet in the sky, your foot would be extremely large, and you would crush everything in your way, in your path, because you'd be extremely heavy, right? Nothing could walk around 450 feet tall. Nothing could walk around like that. That's just absurd, right? Get Deuteronomy 2 and 11. 2 and 10.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 2, verse 10. The Emims dwelt therein in times past.
The what?
The Emims.
The Emims dwelt there in times past. Read on.
A people great and many.
A people great and many. Read on.
And tall as the Anakims.
And tall as the Anakims, the sons of Anak. So the Emims were as tall as the sons of Anak. To show you that what? It wasn't only just one people that was very tall. There was giants on the earth. Everybody understands this? Now we're reading after the flood here in Deuteronomy. We're going to go back before the flood to realize there's no new thing on the earth. The same giants that were there after the flood was the same giants that were there before the flood. There's nothing there that was not there before. Everybody understand this? Let's go back to Genesis. Oh, we should go to the verses showing how tall. Yeah, hold on. Before we go back to Genesis, let's see how tall a giant was. And it said their bed was it 9 cubits? Oh. Let's get that understood. You might be thinking, well, how do you know how tall they are? How do you know they were 100 feet tall. Right? Let's get that, all that understanding. Let's get it. Samuels, that's the word, first Samuels, right? Yeah, First Samuel 17, let's look at verse 3. First Samuel 17, should be verse 3.
The book of First Samuel, chapter 17, verse 3. And the Philistines stood on a mountain on the one side, and Israel stood on a mountain on the other side.
Hold on. First Samuel 17, verse 3. Okay, go ahead. Right, yeah.
And there was a valley between them.
Right.
And there went out a champion of the camp of the Philistines.
Right.
Named Goliath.
Named what?
Goliath.
Now, Goliath was considered a giant. A champion of the Philistines. Right? We know.
Of Gath, whose height was 6 cubits in a span.
Right. 6 cubits and a span. All right. So now, how much is 6 cubits? How long is a cubit? Approximately 18 inches. Right? 6 cubits is how tall? Right, approximately 9 to 10 feet. All right? Essentially 9 to 10 feet, which we'll all agree, if you saw somebody 9 or 10 feet tall, that would be a giant, huh? But nobody's 100 feet tall. Okay? 9 feet tall. That's how big he was. Okay? 9 to 10 feet tall. Right? It says 6 cubits and a span. So let's put our attributes, our minds right. When it says giants, we're talking about people 8, 9 feet tall. 6, 7, 8, 9 feet tall was considered giants. Okay? They were giants. Right? Just like today, we can still consider them giants. Okay? Let's go back now to Genesis. So now you know where we're getting our height. You know, that's why we cannot bank on the book of Enoch. Okay.
Verse 5. And the Most High saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually.
Right. So man was going wicked. They were doing against what the will of God. All right. Check that on that side. Yeah. Okay.
And it repented the Most High that he made man on the earth.
Uh-huh.
And it grieved him at his heart.
Uh-huh.
And the Most High said, I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth.
Right.
Both man and beast and creeping thing and the fowls of the air, for it repented me that I have made them.
Right. So he was angry with his creation that was upon the earth. He was not angry with his angels. He was angry with his creation that was upon the earth. The mankind that he created. And the things that they were doing. Anybody understand that? So when you read in the book of Jude, let's get the book of Jude. I know somebody thinking the book of Jude. Let's go get the book of Jude. Let's see what it says. It's not talking about angels sleeping with men either. In the book of Jude. When the angels left their first estate.
Yeah, verse 6.
Okay. Start with verse 5.
The book of Jude, chapter 1, verse 6.
That's verse 4.
Verse 4. But there are certain men crept unawares,
Right?
who were before of old ordained,
Before of old ordained, read on,
to his condemnation.
to this condemnation. So what does that say? Somebody break that down for me, what he just read. Read that again. Verse 4, Jude 1 and 4.
Verse 4. For there are certain men crept in unawares, who were before of old ordained to this condemnation.
So what does that say? What's that talking about? Crept in unawares. What are we talking about? If somebody creeping here unawares, what does that mean? They're uninvited, but we're not, you didn't know they was here. They mingled in, right? But these are wicked men that already are condemned. They can't do right. It's only in them to do wickedly. Everybody understand that? Not everybody can do right. Some people are destined to do evil. Okay? Read on.
Ungodly men.
Ungodly men. Unrighteous men. Read on.
Turning the grace of our other one into lasciviousness.
Trying to do what?
Turning the grace of our other one into lasciviousness.
They taking the grace that was given and living a lascivious life. Meaning that what? Instead of using the grace to get themselves right with the Father, right? They down at 441 in Sunrise right now, right? Ding, 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 right? Butt naked, running around in a circle, right? That's what they're doing right now. You know what they're doing. All y'all so-called ex-Peruvians, right? You know exactly what they're doing. Ding, 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 right? No sense whatsoever in their head. Nothing in their head, nothing in their brain, right? And barely any clothes on their back, all right? Wickedness was being done, all right? Read.
And denying the only other one.
Right? And denying the Most High. They rather do wickedness than serve the Father. You know?
And our other one of my Sheikh Hawashah.
And they don't got no cares for Yahweh. Read.
I would therefore put you in remembrance.
Right?
Though ye once knew this.
Right?
How that the other one, having saved the people out of the land of Egypt, afterward destroyed them that believed not.
Right. So the Most High took you out of Egypt and then killed you behind the wilderness. So you're not going to play with the Father.
That's right.
Okay? He took them out of Egypt and killed them in the wilderness. Them same evil men. He knew they was wicked when they was in Egypt. They said let them come out anyway. Just so he could look them in their face when he killed them. Okay? Read on.
And the angels which kept not their first estate.
And the angels that kept not their first estate. Read on.
But left their own habitation.
Right?
He hath reserved in everlasting chains under darkness unto the judgment of the great day.
So now what is this talking about? The angel left their first estate. But they wanted to do wickedness. What angel don't do wickedness? Angels don't even, the spiritual angels don't even make their own decisions. They do what the Father tells them to do, that's it. So what angels can do wickedness? Huh? What angels can do wickedness? Can break. Who's he referring to as angels?
Children of Israel.
He's talking about the children of Israel. He ain't talking about angels in the heavens. They can only do the will of the Father. They have no choice but to do the Father's will.
They presented themselves before your side.
That's the Son's will. Right? So angels don't make choices. They do what the Father tells them to do. Okay.
Is Satan considered angel?
Absolutely. He is made to do wickedly. The wickedness that Satan do, he was made to do this. So he is in accordance to what he was made to do. He's not out of line. He's actually in line. Right? He's doing exactly what he was made to do. That's why I said the devil said it from the beginning. right? He was made to be bound and chained in the end. He was made to be loosed and run wild in the earth and cause man to fall. Satan was created to do this. So he's doing what he was created to do. And every demon that he has was created to do demonic work, right? But the righteous angels to turn the wickedness, wait a minute, who's that talking about? That's talking about the children of Israel. Okay. Read on.
Even as Sodom and Gomorrah, and the cities about them in like manner, giving themselves unto fornication, and going after strange flesh, are set forth for an example, suffering the vengeance of eternal fire.
Right, so he's showing us all these examples of what wickedness being demonstrated on the earth. Okay, and what's going to be their outcome? What's going to be their punishment? Okay, so those angels that left their first estate fall right into that same context. Okay, and what to do wickedly. Okay, so now let's go back. And we can go more into that and break it down further, but for price time, we're going to go back to Genesis.
Verse 8. But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Most High. These are the generations of Noah. Noah was a just and perfect in his generation.
That's it on that. That's the last verse. All right, verse 8. Verse 8 is last. All right. So that wraps up the first portion. Truly a blessing to start the portion over again and to reevaluate and we go through the scriptures as is written. I know the first portion always generates a lot of questions, right? If you have questions or anything we went over today, we'll address those questions in, I'll address them in the Friday class coming up. Just let me know your questions. You can send them to me or you can talk to me about them and we will address them. Any blanks, anything that you need more clarity on, right? We'll go over later. I lost count. How many times is now we going through the portion? We start the portion again for which time? Which time?
Either 4 or 5.
4 or 5. Don't be so the 4 years. All right, this is the fourth time us going through the portion. So those of you that's going through the portion of this again, all praises, it's our fourth journey through the Torah. So it's, every time we go through it, we get more and more enlightened and more understanding of the portions. Shemaya. Monday at even is the new moon. Monday at even, sundown, is the new moon. Let me see, we have I'd like to see everyone there that's here. We have to do preparation. We have to go around the room and determine who's bringing what. Right? Monday. The 8th. Thank you, sis. Monday, October 8th. At even, when the sun falls, we're entering the next moon and its phases. Okay? We're about to start at the new phases of the moon. Okay? So, we're going to have a high holy day. We're going to have a celebration. in the beginning of our month and in our gladness. So we need a scribe. Can I get a scribe? Or how you will scribe all praises? Right, because it was what? Yeah, so yeah, 346. Yeah. All right, you ready? Scribe, you ready? All right, so we're gonna go around the room and get this preparation going. We start with the elder. Two turkey events in La Pala. Masha. Masha say he brings some apple juice. Number one.
Wine.
Wine. Yeah. Sorry, I got it. Okay. But it is over 21. Just over 21. Just over 21. 22 or Tuesday? Okay. Yes, maybe. Yeah, number one is being yeah. Yeah. He's there now, he's there. Yeah, he's there. He's legal. He just don't look it. He's legal. All right. Put me down for a Monday. Corn? I don't eat corn like that no more. That's why I'm doing. Put me down for the greens here. I might bring something else to put me down for the greens. Asher. Put Asher down for lemonade and ice. Monatizak. Put Monatizak down for money. Money. ASAP.
Hummus, chicken, and lemonade.
Hummus, chicken, and lemonade. Okay. Quatazak. Levitical rights. Quatazak. Quataz. Right? Quatazak? Oh, Yak Quatazak? I just call Quatazak. It's Yak Quatazak. I show him this thing.
Got it. Now what is he bringing?
Levitical rights.
Okay.
Yona? Strong drink. Right. Southern comfort. Huh? That's it. That's it. No, I don't do so. I just do so. Sanwala.
Water.
Water. Hadar. Plates. You got it? Hadar. Okay. Maria. Fruits with the seed. Yielding seed. It's like the what's your name again? Zamar. Okay, Zamar. Cranberry juice. Chasing. Greg. What kind of drink? It's great. Let's talk about his brother man, brother man. Brother man from the fifth floor. Huh? You got any drink? Let's see. You gotta work on his Hebrew name. You gotta work on it. I'm not saying L, we gotta show up. That is not proper Hebrew in no way, shape, or form. You gotta work on that. If you want to say the Israelite, is that what you're trying to say? It be hot Yeshua. Right? It be hot Yeshua. Aliyah.
Sir. We're bringing barbecue chicken.
Barbecue chicken, Aliyah. Chefing it up. Baruch. Monetary donation. Going with the money. Yeah, Heskel. You switched up Lawrence on me. Heskel. Oh no, he's not here. Apple juice and grape juice. Shalom Ayah. Corn on the cob. See that? You get your corn on the cob. Shalom Ayah. With that. Okay? I always buy it raw. I buy it raw. No brand. In the husk. Cut it. Make it happen there. Nobody stamp their name on it. I mean, so I don't know. But which one? Birds? Right. For fresh corn. There you go. Emmanuel. Monetary donation. Fine, you guys still like you come do it with that white. Oh, white sauce is good. I'll get back to you. I didn't see that. I know. Monetary donation? Okay, more money. You're gonna be loaded.
I got the Dutch that you bring orange juice and apple wine. I got the Dutch.
I'll remind me that when I finish it. What happened to ice? You're making pecan cake? Fresh pecans?
Yes.
Baked to perfection? Oh, hey. Roger. You already told him? What's Roger doing? Turkey. All right. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. It's coming. What did he get? What's the name again? Ariella. Like that. It was coming to me. Right? Ariella. Hallelujah. All right, what you bringing out? All right. I remember that lamb. I was about to say that. I'm going to say that lamb you told me you was testing, and you're bringing the lamb like you're a professional. All right. All right. I remember that lamb. All right. What's the brother that's next? What's your name, brother? In the green. Yashamar? All right, Yashima, Yah protects. All right, fine. Yashima, you making money? Okay. All right, cut. Hallelujah. Hey, Yashima. All right. Yeah, where your shy at? I think he slid out. Yeah, we're gonna get them in a minute. Let me get the ice is up.
We're trying to start either tuna, salad, or potato salad.
All right. Put me down for a tuna salad. Design, man. You sneak past me? What I say design was brilliant. What do you call it design? Design was brilliant. You say you making rice?
No.
What you said?
All right, I'm gonna bring rice.
You gonna bring rice? He's bringing rice. Yeah. Design chefing it up.
Hayat Kodash said he's bringing wine and organic apple juice.
Okay. Apple. Right now, Hayat Kadash. He's bringing wine and apple juice. Hayat Kadash. Okay? You got it? All right, let's get to security. Security. Wine and apple juice. They're coming. Want me to make it Monday? All right, come. Baya. Strong drink? Okay. Who else you got? What's Mike Al at? I ain't seen Mike Al all day. Where you at? What you doing? What you bringing out? Huh? Burners? Oh, that's important. What else you got back there?
What was it, burger?
It sounded like you said burgers, but I think you meant burners, right? Yeah.
He said hamburger.
He said burger.
Hamburger?
Beef burger.
Is that what you saying, brother? Minus the ham? Lamb burger? Okay. Bring the lamb burgers. Chef Shawan. Chef Sam Shawan. What's that? Isaac Hayes? Isaac Hayes. Denzel Washington. Samuel Jackson. Come on, Sam Shawan. What you bring for?
Oh, okay. He said burger.
All right. What else you got back there? Is it? Okay. All right, sisterhood. You gotta save us. So far, we got rice, we got public chicken, and some vegetables, and some corn.
We got wings.
You got some wings? Oh, we got wings?
We got
Okay, yeah, we got.
tuna salad.
All right.
We got turkey.
Wow. Oh, yeah, I might. We may not need y'all. We may not be invited. Let's see what happens here. Sister Erica.
I'm still deciding, so I don't know yet. But
You want some cook up rice or some pepper pot? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? That's it?
I don't know yet. I'll get back to you.
We'll get back. All right, we'll get back to you. Sister Chantel, talk to us.
Unfortunately, I won't be there, but I'm gonna leave it.
Monetary donation. But nah. Water. That blue water, just water. Sparkling water or something. I know you could, but nah. You got, oh, you're not coming to water? The choir?
What?
Designer? Okay. Brianna? Mm-hmm. You have to hide. Rice? What kind of rice? Is rice?
She's making cook-up for her. No.
Making cook up rice, Riri? All right, I gotta have to cook up rice.
You have to have a cook of rice? All right, then you cook up, not cook down. All right. Alicia? Yes? We have rice. Cabbage and chicken? I'm with that. That sounds good. Cabbage and chicken, you know. That's a Vegemite food. Well, you know, that's good stuff right there. Right? Naomi? Tuna salad?
Like, how?
Okay. Tuna salad.
So should I turn that to potato?
No.
And she said she bring it to she said she bring it to the bite. I'm exposed.
No, keep bringing the tuna salad. No, yeah. Cornbread loaves. Okay. Yeah. Sister Wendy. Wendy. Beef and potatoes. All right. Lavender. Cake? All right. We do some cake. Yashapa.
Monetary donation.
All right, we'll come back to you. We're not sure. No, we'll come back to you. Something going on over there. I'll help you. We'll come back to you, Yashapa. Got you too quick.
You don't even, I make the grade.
Only way can have this confusion every new move. Right?
The truth is coming as you know. I'll just go along with what I mean every time.
What you bring? What you bring? You down for the greens. Zipporah. Monetary donation. Malika. Say again. Breadsticks. Homemade breadsticks. Made from scratch. Like grandma used to make. Vegemite, man. You say you're doing festival? That's like a Vegemite breadstick. Huh? Yeah. Vegemite breadstick. Festival. Right? Listen. What kind of peas? I don't know. That's a hard question. What kind of peas?
Yona question.
Really? What kind of peas? You find out you're a restaurant critic or something on the low. You find out. I didn't even know. They just asked you, you know all the food? Okay. You know the food, huh? Okay. What are these? Pigeon peas? What are these? Pigeon peas, huh? Yeah. This man used pigeon peas.
What's sugar name?
The Shaw. What say you, sister? Uh-huh. So you tag team on a tuna salad? Right? You know? Okay. That can work together. Okay. Yeah, no, it's short notice. You know, we usually give a week in advance. Little flower. I forget little flower. Let me say that in Hebrew again. With my elder sister in the back. Want to make it my name? I know the name means little flower. How you say it again? Zapora. All right. That's everybody. All right, so it's going to be a glorious feast. Online we have one brother. Is anybody else online?
No.
Okay. Oh, we got to go back to Yashapa now because she was talking crazy earlier. All right, let's see if she's okay now. Yashapa, are you okay now? Can we get an answer? Brown chicken. Yes. All right. Shalom. Hello, y'all. Hello. All right. If you look up in the back, you see the signs in the back on the wall. Our priest, our elders, is having a prince coming soon. So we're doing a shower for him for the family next week Sunday. All right. If you look on the wall, it gives you all the information. But there's also a number on the wall to call to say, whether you're gonna make it or you're not gonna make it. Okay. So please let us know so we know how much food to cook for everyone. Right? All right. Yashapa is the one you're going to be contacting. That's my wife. She's sitting in the back there. So please contact her. Let her know if you're going to make it next week Sunday. All right. If you are going to make it, how many coming with you? Right? All right. If everybody's there, we can make it. Shalom. Right. So, like you said, baby shower for Chris having a little son. So we want to support family, expanded his real estate there. So we'll make sure that we support that and come out and show the support to the house of Kahar. All right. So that being said, we're ready to put praise to the Most High's name. All right. So say, I might have upon your Yerushalayim, stand in faith Jerusalem. Hallelujah. Who's the power? Who's the power? By Hashem? By Hashem? Bless. Holy is the name of Noah. Yahweh. Holy is the name of Mashiach. Yahushua. Whom Noah Yahweh. Whom Mashiach Yahushua. Whom Mashiach Yahushua. Whom Yeshua. Barakatah Yahweh. Hashem. Mashiach. Yahushua. Ahava'ah. Noah. Hashabbat. Barcelona, Bakushar, Shemai, Zechariah, Barak, Barapar, Bakazak, Ramakan, Rashmaiah, Akim, Ra, Akwakia, Bakushar, Yahweh, Hashem, Mashiach, Yahushai, Yachak, Shatan, Yachak, Shatan, Yachak, Kol, Rai, Rechayim, Yachak, Kol, Rai, Rechayim, Bakushar, Bakushar, Bakushar. All praises be to the power Eamites, the Jacob, the power of Israel. We thank you, how for giving us this Shabbat day. We thank you, how for every soul that's in this room. We thank you, how for returning our heritage onto us in these last days. We ask you, how to continue to heal, protect, and make strong and watch over the children of Israel. We also ask you, how to put a hedge around that little sanctuary, that Satan and the devil and that old serpent can work his way into these doors. But we are protected by thy holy angels. Send the holy angels that stood before the Garden of Eden to block these doors, O Yahweh, that no evil can come through and take over. All this we ask in the name of thy Son, Mashiach Yahushua. Baruch Yahweh, I want you to remember Sister Sarah and her daughter Joelle in their time of need and their time of their infirmities, and be with them in the hospital as they work on and becoming whole once again, and restore their well-being unto them. As for all the children of Israel, may the Most High bless us and keep us up in His name, and continue to cover us and wake us up in these last days, and to restore us fully into the glory that is given unto us. All this we ask in the name of Mashiach Yahushua. Let all that have breath praise Yahweh. Hallelujah. Let all that have breath praise Yahweh. Hallelujah. By Hashem Mashiach Yahushua, to right up the yard. Amen. Hallelujah. There is no power like Yahweh.